Welcome to This Explainer, everyone. Today we're putting on our plant detective hats to solve one of the absolute most frustrating mysteries in indoor gardening. We're going to dig into the science, decode the clues, and figure out exactly what our leafy companions are trying to tell us when things start looking, well, a little grim. Let's jump right in. So, picture this. Have you ever just stared helplessly at a dying, crispy houseplant, watering can in hand, and wondered, where did I go wrong? You followed the care tag, you gave it a prime spot on the windowsill, and yet the leaves are rolling up like tiny dry cigars. It's heartbreaking, right? But what if I told you your plant isn't just giving up, it's actually trying to send you an urgent SOS message?
Moving into Section 1, the crispy leaf mystery, and finding our culprit. Okay, so plants obviously can't speak, but they brilliantly communicate their distress through physical symptoms. Every brown tip, every yellowing stem, and especially every curled leaf is a distinct clue left right at the scene of the crime. And what's super fascinating here is how the direction and the texture of the curl instantly give away the type of stress the plant is dealing with. Think about it. If a leaf curls downward and feels kind of soft or limp, you're likely looking at a soil issue. This is often overwatering or poor drainage, causing an oxygen deficit, literally suffocating the roots. But on the flip side, if you see crispy edges that curl upward, feeling papery and dry, you're looking at a totally different mechanism. That upward curl points directly to environmental stress, specifically heat or low humidity, which is pulling water from the leaves way faster than the roots can ever replace it.
All right, Section 2, biotic versus abiotic. Let's round up our suspects. Now, before we jump to conclusions and start drastically changing our care routines, we really need to divide our culprits into two main categories, biotic and abiotic. Biotic factors, those are your living threats. Think fungi, bacteria, viruses, and those pesky insect pests. Abiotic factors, though, are the non-living stressors. We're talking drought, poor drainage, wild temperature shifts, and humidity levels. You know, it's incredibly common for gardeners to mistakenly blame a contagious biotic disease when the true villain is actually an abiotic environmental stressor. And here's why that matters. If you misdiagnose an abiotic issue as a fungal disease, spraying it with chemicals isn't just going to fail to help, it might actually stress the plant out even more.
So let's use a quick process of elimination with this symptom chart to differentiate dry air from, say, a heavy watering hand. Overwatering typically presents as yellowing lower leaves, a total plant wilt, and that soft downward curl we just talked about, often coming along with root rot. Yuck. Low humidity, on the other hand, rarely causes a total plant collapse or mushy roots. Instead, you're going to see bud or flower drop, brown leaf margins or tips, and that stiff upward leaf curl. This brings us to Section 3, the culprit, low humidity.
Now that we've cleared the other suspects, like soggy soil or lack of sunlight, let's unmask our silent, invisible culprit. The really crucial point here is that when relative humidity drops below 30%, plants face extreme stress. And let's be honest, this level of dryness is incredibly common in our centrally heated rooms during the winter. Tropical houseplants, which make up the vast majority of our indoor collections, are used to jungle environments with rich, heavy moisture in the air. When you pluck them out of that and place them in a dry, centrally heated living room, a super steep moisture gradient forms between the leaf surface and the surrounding air. This causes rapid, unrelenting evaporation.
To survive this brutal dryness, the plant actually activates a fascinating defense mechanism. Without enough moisture in the air, the plant just can't maintain the turgor pressure in its leaf cells. So what does it do? The leaves curl inward to reduce their overall exposed surface area. By essentially folding up, the plant creates a tiny, slightly more humid microclimate inside that curl, slowing down the rate of transpiration to protect whatever precious moisture it has left. It's a brilliant survival tactic, honestly, even if it leaves the plant looking pretty terrible.
Section 4, the disease triangle. Let's look at how infections spread.
The thing is, low humidity doesn't just work alone. It actually sets the stage for a much larger issue, which is perfectly illustrated by this concept called the disease triangle. Basically, all three of these factors must align for an infestation or disease to really take hold. You need a susceptible host, like our stressed-out houseplant, you need a pathogen or pest present in the area, and most importantly, you need a favorable environment. If you break just one side of this triangle, the whole threat falls apart. But when you have chronically low humidity, you're practically rolling out the red carpet and creating the ultimate favorable environment for some specific, highly damaging pests.
Which leads us to Section 5, accomplices. Enter the spider mites.
Yep, this bone-dry favorable environment invites our abiotic culprit's absolute favorite opportunistic biotic accomplice, the spider mite. Now, spider mites absolutely despise high humidity, but in dry, warm, winter-heated rooms, their populations can explode almost overnight. Unlike some microscopic issues, though, spider mites leave a very distinct calling card. Notice that easily recognizable gray webbing they leave behind on spruce needles and general foliage? The bugs themselves are tiny, often looking just like moving dust specks. But that fine cobweb-like webbing clustered around the stems and curled leaves, that is a dead giveaway that your low humidity problem has officially escalated into a full-blown pest infestation.
Section 6. Fixing the air. Time for a rescue mission.
All right, it is finally time to break that disease triangle and evict these pests for good. But before we start wildly changing things, we must be methodical. Let's execute a quick 3-step diagnostic routine to confirm the exact issue. Step 1, check the soil moisture. If the soil is moist but the leaves are still crispy and curled upward, you know for sure it's not underwatering. Step 2, check the light and heat. Ask yourself, is the plant sitting directly over a blazing radiator or in a super hot window? Step 3, check for pests. Look really closely under the leaves and near the stems for that telltale spider mite webbing. Once you confirm it is indeed dry air causing the distress, then you can take action.
And here are the most actionable, highly effective solutions to elevate the humidity directly around the plant's microclimate. Now don't worry, you don't necessarily have to turn your whole house into a sauna to fix this. You can use pebble trays. Simply place a shallow tray of clay pebbles under the pot with water just below the base. This provides continuous evaporation right where the plant needs it. Grouping plants together also really helps them create a shared, humid microclimate. Definitely move them away from radiators and heating vents. That's a no-brainer. And if you have highly sensitive tropicals like calatheas or ferns, honestly, investing in a small room humidifier is a total game changer.
But as with all good mysteries, we have a critical plot twist. While we absolutely must fix the dry air to uncurl those leaves, we cannot overcorrect. Look at this advice from the Cooperative Extension Service. Pushing humidity above 85% invites dangerous new villains. A hyperhumid environment combined with poor air circulation is the exact favorable environment needed for devastating fungal diseases like botrytis or gray mold. So balance is everything. You want it humid enough to keep those leaves flat and happy, but airy enough to keep the fungi at bay.
Well, we've cracked the case. We've seen how plants use their leaves to signal distress, how dry air forces them into a defensive curl, and how that very dryness can invite unwanted pests. So I'll leave you with this thought. Next time a leaf curls up on your favorite houseplant, will you automatically reach for the watering can? Or will you use your new detective skills to step back, examine the evidence, and check your air? The answer might just save your plant's life. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.